Greetings and salutations, this is Imperator Vespasian and his ever-trusty sidekick.
Hello.
So we're bringing you Russian line infantry from 1809 to 1814, which is a much shorter period of time than the Austrian box. It's like 10 years, this is a shorter time. By this time the Russians had actually gone through quite a revolution in their military because they'd been invaded by France, and the Russians' peasant army had to really reorganise itself. They actually started minting their own cannon for once, which was good. Before Napoleon invaded, every blacksmith, I think every 2 years, had to give one cannon to the state. Therefore, cannon were never the same. They were all, some would blow up, they weren't very good. After 1812, Russians started producing proper artillery, proper equipment, standardising the army. I should guess when Napoleon invaded Russia, the Russian army would have looked very little like this, and more sort of all different size coats, all different size types of trousers.
Disorganised.
Well, not necessarily disorganised, it's just Russia was huge, and it was based on tithes. What's the thing where instead of paying taxes, you pay service?
Oh,
tithes?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, so seamstresses would have to issue one uniform per month or something for free, but that was your tax, and that's kind of how it works. Not all parts of Russia, there's like the rich bits of Russia were fine, like Moscow would have had its own posh soldiery, but let's face it, large amounts of Russian soldiers went into the Napoleonic Wars with pikes and spears, and some only armed with swords. Then again, about 50 years later, large parts of the Turkish army tried to go up against the Russians with swords and shields, and the Russians trounced them. That was fun in the Russo-Turkish War. But just so I'm not blaming entirely Russia for this. And let's face it, 100 years later, the Zulus were using spears against British infantry. So, yeah. It's no excuse to the Russians. They were a bit late, that's all. So this is the Russian box. It looks a lot easier to do than the other boxes that they've done.
Yeah.
I want to say, which was pointed out by you, as that officer looks quite annoyed that guy got shot at this moment in time.
He's like, oh, how dare you get shot.
Yes, he's got a nice line. He's got them all to march in a straight line for once, for the first time in 3 weeks, and suddenly Ivan falls down. Just breaking the line up, making it look silly. He's going to get shouted at for that.
Yeah, I know. All people in the background are going to get scared and run off. Oh.
Yeah, although that guy's got a bit of a grin on his face. I don't think he liked Ivan. I think Ivan owed him money. And he's rather old to be a drummer, isn't he?
That's why he's a drummer.
Well, no, he's got grey hair.
His eyesight's gone, so he can't shoot.
How's he going to carry a stretcher? His back will go. I know what it's like being that old. I'm not carrying any stretchers around. Seriously, that should be a young lad who is not a soldier yet, and he carries stretcher. That's what drummers were, stretcher bearers. But who cares? Right. So, regardless of age, this is the Russian army. And here you are.
Standard sprue.
Yes, and let's see what else we've got. We've got it's all the same. So there's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bit boring, really.
The figure, the backpack, the heads, done.
Yeah, so the figures are all the same. The figures are different. So you get a little bit of variety in the actual stance, but the equipment's identical, and the heads. Okay, so that's your grenadiers, and that's your line infantry. Not bad. They look okay. Let's have a look. Oh, they're all the same. So all the sprues are the same. I'm not going to go into massive detail about the figures. Let's have a look at the backs. I'd have assumed there would be another sprue. Right, so the pack's going quite easily. They've got a nice little dot to plug it into. You'll enjoy that, won't you?
Yeah, it's nice and simple.
Yeah, these are dead easy. So the Russian infantry are dead easy to do. Now we get on to the actual command. And what I'm beginning to see is a bit of a trope with the Russians. There's a lot of Russians holding hats. Each box has a Russian guy holding a hat, which is actually dropped him, which is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, because Civils don't really have that.
Yeah, the French have one smoking a cigar, which is just awesome. He's got his hat on the end of his sword, which is going to be quite expensive because those hats aren't cheap. So he's ruined a perfectly good hat just to let his soldiers know where he is. There you go. So that's the heads and stuff. He's got a... Is that a sword? It is not a very big sword. That's practically a cutlass.
Maybe it's to cut his bread.
Oh, he's having lunch.
Yeah.
It does sound Russian, doesn't it? Yeah, so then we've got these heads, and these are the officers' heads. And
they're nice.
Yeah, these are really nice. These are excellent. So you got the bareheaded guys, which go... Oh, dropped it again. The bareheaded guys, which go perfectly with the guy with the hat in the air. Nice bare head for that. And the guy holding his hat, nice bare head for that, which is very good. That looks awesome, doesn't it? And the back is boring, so we'll just stick to the front. And then 3 extra grenadier heads. So we have the drummer there. You've already seen his arm, and that's actually looks like the same drum as the grenadiers, to be honest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's the grenadier drum, right? Or the same drum that you get in the grenadier. That is the same standard bearer. So I think it's going to be all standard, isn't it?
Yeah.
The other difference with grenadiers and infantry is the heads. So you just get that box full of heads, which is pretty cool. And that's the guy. He's okay. And then the officer, which we've seen before in our last video. If it zooms in. There we go. He's quite well appointed, quite well dressed. Probably has a privately bought coat. Bought from a very nice gentleman in St. Petersburg. And his boots are probably privately owned as well. I'm just wondering, do the Russians... No, all the boots for the Russians are just boots. In reality, the Russians would have looked more like the Prussians. You know, the Prussian landwehr? Some of the soldiers have bare feet and stuff. That's more what Russians are going to be getting. Not that well.
Especially in line.
Yeah, but as it said, it is this period. So this period is an odd period to pick to set your figures, because at the beginning of this period, Russian infantry would be rather badly equipped, and at the end of the period, they would be one of the best equipped armies in the world. So by 1814, your Russian infantry is pretty much a proper army. A proper westernized army. So anyway, where were we? And then we've got that guy who was the other guy holding a pointy thing. And we've got these, which I've already commented on in the other video. Go watch the other video first. And then you've got the heads. If I can zoom it in, and they're normal infantry heads. So effectively, you could do whatever you like with these. You have enough heads to go both ways for grenadier or line, and you have enough heads to go for the officers for grenadier or line, like that. So that you can make this box into anything you want. So what do you think?
Lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, I always found the Russian army interesting. They really were up against it in more ways than one. They had a lot of issues. They had a bit of a civil war going on before the Napoleonic Wars, and they pretty much had civil wars right until the Civil War, the revolution. So the Russians had a lot of problems going on. Plus, there's a massive amounts of room to move stuff, move supplies and things. And the fact that the Russians were able to retreat in front of Napoleon's army efficiently is actually impressive.
But I would say that the Napoleonic, it's like the French did exactly what the Germans did in World War II wrong.
Yes.
You invaded the wrong country.
well, the Germans successfully invaded Russia in World War One, and they won. They negotiated a peace, and they took the whole of Ukraine, and signed a peace treaty with the Russians, which was, which turned out fine for the Germans then. World War Two, yeah, they invaded too early. Then again, I don't think they had a choice, because if they would have been facing a reorganised Russia, I don't think they'd have got far over the border.
Yeah, so he strike them right there and then.
And striking them when all the stuff was at the border was useful, because then you can hit all the tanks at the same time. The Russians massively outnumbered the Germans.
And everyone panicked.
And the Russians panicked, but they didn't run away. What is a misconception is that the Germans pushed the Russians back. They didn't. They killed their way through the Russians. Russian regiments in World War II didn't retreat.
Didn't have a choice.
No, they stood and died.
Well, they couldn't.
Well, they didn't have a choice. No, they were actually killed to death. 3 million surrendered, but they were
like Stalingrad when the Russians start running back, and so the Commissars goes, right, shoot them.
Yeah, machine guns were used to machine gun Russian soldiers. Yeah. They didn't equip assault troops with machine guns. That was in case your troops came back. You can't allow that to happen. It worked. The Russians won. It shows how spineless the Germans were.
They weren't spineless.
A bunch of wimpy, spineless German soldiers. Don't have the guts to do it, do they?
True.
Yeah. Russians did. Russians had the guts to do it. The British had the guts to do it. We had no problem firebombing civilians. The Americans had no problem helping us bomb civilians. Admittedly, we did get the Americans to do it in the daytime because we thought the daytime was dangerous to bomb Germany. But then again, it's the only way the Americans could find anywhere in Germany, by doing it in daytime. Because if we'd have let them bomb at night, they would have bombed us. Yes,
they would be gone.
They would have flattened London. Because all the Americans could do is bomb the British. So you need the Americans as far away as possible, preferably in daylight, with big stickers painted on the ground to tell them which way to go, which we actually did. We put arrows in fields to point to where the Americans are supposed to go. We did that. That actually happened. Sorry, I'm dissing Americans. I shouldn't, because they did help. A couple of years late, but they turned up. I suppose it was nice of them to turn up. Lazy people, these foreigners.
That's Russians done.
That's Russians done. Yeah, that's Russians finished. So have a look out if you're interested in any of these figures when they're painted up. Have a look at our eBay. And I've said this in the other video. We're going to be listing them because we're doing them anyway. So just do additional.
We've already got a lot of stuff up, but it'll take a while to get these ones up because we've got a lot to
we're
do.
doing other stuff. We're doing other projects, and we're doing the same with them, and it seemed to be quite.
We've got a lot. We've got French up. We've got Zulu War up.
Yeah, we just finished that stuff. Well, we started that stuff, should I say? We've got a couple of regiments done already. So
we've got the Austrian infantry up.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, so have a look at our. Go down and click our eBay shop and see what you think. And these are awesome. Those guys and those guys. We'll be doing this regiment up in as grenadiers or musketeers.
Musketeers.
Just because, yeah,
this
is our first box. No, it's our first. They're guard grenadiers.
Oh yeah, first box. Just do line.
Yeah, so we'll just do them as musketeers. Right, that's fine. I wonder if you can get 28mm Russian pike for Napoleonic.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I mean, I suppose you could always convert Landwehr.
No, Landwehr don't.
No, but you could cut the rifle off and put a pike on.
I suppose, yeah.
Keep a lookout for that, unless I can find some. If I can find someone who does Russian pike, then don't worry about it. I'll buy that box. But if they don't, I'll have a look. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can just watch this space and see what we can come up with. We have lots of ideas, don't we?
Yeah.
Right, so that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Over to you.
If you enjoyed the video, please do like and subscribe and comment down below what you think of the Russian line infantry. That's everything from me.
And everything from him. Goodbye.
Bye.